Hello and welcome to a new video on the Mantis Q40. Today we're going to take a quick look at how the library works. We're not going to do a huge deep dive into it today. We're just going to dip our toes in the water just for this video. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I need to tell you is that this book that I'm going to be demoing for you was loaded onto the Mantis, Mantis storage, internal storage, by plugging the Mantis into a computer and then manually putting this file in the books folder. That's one way of doing it. Another way is to put it on an external storage like SD card or a thumb drive. So that's another way of doing it. The reason I picked this method was because I thought that it would be easier just to stick it on the internal storage. So what kind of file is it? I chose to do a BRF file because I wanted to show you something specific about the BRF files. But you can load in a text file as well, and that will work just through this way. There are other ways you can do it when you go through the Bookshare application, when you're directly doing it through the Wi-Fi on the device, and that's just a little bit different, but that's just kind of what I did for this example. So remember, I guess I didn't tell you this, but also another thing to keep in mind is that when you load the file, whether it's a text file or a BRF file, load the file itself, not on the folder. I mean, you can load the folder if you want, as long as it's unzipped, but really all you need is the file. So otherwise you're adding another layer for your student to open, and that's not really necessary. Okay, so let me go ahead and wake up my Mantis because it's sleeping. And here we go. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get myself out of this book because I want to show you how I got there. So I'm going to go to the main menu, and it says editor on my device, and I'm going to press the letter L for library on my QWERTY keyboard, and library is displayed on my display, and I'm going to press enter. I get some options here. One of them is to see my book list, and if I do a next thumb key, it'll say recent books. Next thumb key again, I can search if I have a large number of books that I want to be able to look for a particular one. I can search and do that. And the next item is just close the app. So I'm going to go to my book list, and I'm going to press enter. And the book I have here is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I usually use the same book each time when I do a demo, just because we know kind of what to expect. So this is a BRF file, and that's important because let me go ahead and open the file with an enter, and it's loading, and that took like all of 2 seconds. And here's the beginning of the file, and it says, here it is. Okay, I was at the end of the file for some reason. So to get to the beginning really quick, I did a control function left arrow to get to the beginning of the book, and I can do a control function right arrow to get to the end of the book. For some reason, I wasn't at the beginning where I wanted to show you. So now it says Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Now, this is a BRF file, and it's the and the are put together. So I know this is not a UEB file, and that may or may not matter to you. When you download a BRF file, the translation in the file is already done. So you can't change how the file appears to you. If you download it as a TXT file, you can display the Braille in whatever Braille table you want. So you're kind of, you know, if it only has the EBAE version of the book in a BRF, you're just kind of stuck, and that's fine. You know, that's what you got. But if you want to make sure that you have it in UAB, typically you're going to want to load the text, the TXT file. So we've already covered how to get to the top and the bottom of the file. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this book because I want to show you something else. So here I exited the book, and now I can tell I'm on the file name because there's all sorts of little underlines telling me that I'm there. So I can do so I'm on the book. So I can perform a bunch of actions on this book when the book is not open. So from the library. So if I do a control function and the letter M, so remember control is in your lower left-hand corner of your keyboard and function is right next to it. So just those two keys, control, function, and then the M for menu. I'm going to get some options here. I can copy the file to a location, and if I press my next thumb key, I can move the file to a location. Next thumb key, I can delete this file or delete this book. Next thumb key, and then I can close this menu. And if I hit the next thumb key again, I'm right up at the beginning to where I can copy my file to a location. So that's if you want to maybe copy it onto a external drive for some reason, or you want to copy it to from an external to your internal, all of that. So again, it creates a copy. If you move it, you are taking the entire thing, packing it up, and putting it somewhere else. It's not a copy. So if you want to make sure that you are moving it from an external source like a SD card or a USB, and you want to keep that file on the USB drive or this SD card, but you want it also on the hard drive of the device that you're putting it on, then you're going to pick copy. If you do not want it on that external source anymore, then you're going to pick move. And it's just a situational difference. I'm going to do a next thumb key again. So delete. It will permanently delete your file. I do not believe it goes into any sort of recycling, so you can't retrieve it. So make sure you really are done before you delete it. I'm going to hit escape to get out of this menu because I don't need to be in it anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and open this book again with a cursor routing key or an enter, and it loads. It takes about 2 to 3 seconds because it's all text. And that is one way to, some other ways you can do things with this file. So now I've got it open. And another thing I can do is I can choose my navigation level. So what's a navigation level? A navigation level is whatever has been assigned to this file as a navigation option. Now, you're typically going to have page, paragraph, all of those ones. As options. If your file is marked up, you might have headings as an option. It's hard to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that Control T. And as we said, the control lower left part of the keyboard and a T. So now it's going to let me select between my navigation, my navigation level, sorry. So the first navigation level option it gives me is line. So I'm going to choose my navigation level by going forward with the next thumb key. The next option, I get a sentence, then bookmark, then close. But don't worry, because if you go past close, it'll start at a different one. So let's see, page, now paragraph, and we're back to line. So I'm going to actually use my previous button to select page, and I'm going to hit a cursor routing key. So now my navigation level is at page. So now all I have to do is to move from page to page is to do that next thumb key or previous thumb key, and it will take me where I want to go, just by page. So every time I hit it, different page. So, all right. That's kind of cool, right? So The next option, though, if you need to change that navigation level, you can, or you can just keep it here wherever, you know, whatever makes you like the most comfortable, I guess. So I'm going to go to the top again with a control function left arrow. And again, we're at the top here. I'm just going to go a little way in there for just a second here. And I'm going to show you a where am I command. Now the where am I command can come in pretty handy if you're not sure exactly what part of the file you are in. So if you're not sure whether you're halfway in, halfway out, you know, where you ended up with, you can do that too. It's kind of a neat choice. So I'm going to do a control plus W. And it's going to say, okay, heading. And there really isn't a heading here. It says heading level 1 of 1, so that's not very helpful. So I'm going to press my next thumb key. So now we're at percent, and it says that I'm at about 1%. I went forward a little bit, so not too far. So now I'm going to go to page, and it says I am on page number 4 of 430. So, oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, 430. Then if I do next again, it'll tell me what line I'm on out of like number of like million lines, because that's a lot of lines. And then it'll keep on cycling around, and here it says close. So your navigation options are going to look, or your where am I choices are going to look different based on your navigation that's available in the document you're in. So if it's marked with headings, there may be several headings. There may be chapter headings or whatever, or there might be other choices. But this one is not marked up like that. So that's about it. So anyway, that's the basics of using a book. We're going to talk next time about bookmarks and selecting some text and doing a little bit more with what's in the library. So hope you've enjoyed and have a great day.